there's just like so much news, and if we miss something, I'm really sorry, because
like one of the plane crashes.
I mean, it's just, or one of the lawsuits. It's so difficult to keep track. And I know John Oliver did a really good segment about focusing on Donald Trump and saying it's so hard with all this news coming at you. Steve Bannon has said it, that this is the way that you are most effective as a conservative, as you flood the zone, and then it's difficult for shows like ours, or even bigger, more influential shows like Oliver's, to hook onto something. But I think that's what we're trying to do. And today we'll be speaking to Austin about his immigration cruelty, which is really important to keep our eyes on, because a lot of these folks, they are not looking to be in the press because of fears of deportation. So the cruelty towards them isn't necessarily reported on in the way that I think is proportional to the crisis that it's creating. So we'll have a great interview with him, and his Substack is phenomenal tracking this in just a bit. But I wanted to start with a more rousing video and segment to start the show than what we'd done earlier this week, unpacking Elon Musk's, horrific lies about things like Social Security, as he tinkers with our most sensitive information in the Treasury so he can create his bank and make himself rich. But we're seeing more and more resistance. Yesterday, there was a rally for the federal workers. I saw AOC had a great speech. There is an appetite to push back against this. And the Democrats in Washington, many of them are not meeting this moment. So we had on Tuesday a active civil disobedience and speech by this former NFL player, Chris Kluwe. He was in the league from 2005 to 2013. He was on the Minnesota Vikings as a punter.
Great punter.
And he was cut in 2013 from the Vikings after he had been being extremely vocal about his support for marriage equality when that fight was happening. He was writing in papers, publishing letters. He was speaking about other players' homophobia in the league. And he alleges that the Vikings cut him for this reason, which I completely believe. I mean, we saw what happened with Kaepernick and the conservative bent of the league. The Vikings later settled with him in 2014, and Kluwe requested that settlement go straight to LGBTQ causes. I mean, this guy is a real ally, and he went, and not that it matters, he's straight, but he went to this city council meeting in Huntington Beach, and we need more people like this guy running for office. He should run for office, but more folks like this should run for office, and primary Democrats. Here he is, or if he would like to run as an independent, I don't know exactly what his politics are, but either way, this was an awesome thing to see. It's going viral right now. Here he is speaking at a city council meeting in Huntington Beach, and I'll tell you what he was outraged over specifically after we listened to him.
Hi, my name's Chris Kluwe, 15-year HB resident. I'm here to speak out against both the plaque and the current city council. As the community made clear at the Library Commission meeting last Tuesday, everyone is in favor of a plaque to celebrate the library, but the vast majority are against including a MAGA acrostic. Okay? Unfortunately, it's clear that this council does not listen, so instead I'm going to take my time to say what MAGA has stood for these past 3 weeks. MAGA stands for trying to erase trans people from existence. MAGA stands for resegregation and racism. MAGA stands for censorship and book bans. MAGA stands for firing air traffic controllers while planes are crashing. MAGA stands for firing the people overseeing our nuclear arsenal. MAGA stands for firing military veterans and those serving them at the VA, including canceling research on veteran suicide. MAGA stands for cutting funds to education, including for disabled children. MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is. I will now engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience.
Get the heck. Get out.
sprinting to get this guy. Can we go to the footage, just the very end of the viral video where they show him getting carried out? You can, as Bradley finds that, I'll explain a little bit more. This, I think Huntington Beach board is either all Republican or overwhelmingly majority Republican. And what they were trying to do was, here we go. This is well, I'll explain in just a second because he's referring to an acrostic that they were trying to install. But this, this is perfect. They literally carried him out like he was about to assault somebody.
American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience.
Get the heck. Get out.
Unfortunately,
So he said he was doing civil disobedience. There's no need to push him to the ground. I've been to actions. I was at that, action at Nancy Pelosi's office where environmental activists sat in and AOC joined them right after she had gotten elected to Congress. And usually people just sit down, they're zip tied and walked out. But this is a very Republican area of California. I mean, this is Huntington Beach.
California has the most Republicans of any state in the union.
That makes sense. And I think this is Orange County, right? That's where Huntington Beach is. And you don't need to. I should probably check these things before I speak. But I think I'm right most of the time. I just always worry about being wrong. Regardless. So what he's referring to here is that Huntington Beach wanted to install a MAGA plaque at a library. And of course, they're trying to be tongue in cheek about it. If we could just scroll down, Bradley, to see what the design was. The Huntington Beach City Council has approved plans to install a commemorative plaque at its library with an ode to President Donald Trump, with approving a slightly modified design and spending an additional $1,000 for security. And this is what the plaque was supposed to look like. It's here. Magical, alluring, galvanizing, adventurous, Huntington Beach Central Library. It's an acronym for MAGA, on a public library. And that's what Kluwe was protesting. So why I wanted to play this is this is an example of folks getting involved in their community to combat these right-wing politics. And as I headlined, Quinnipiac had a poll that came out that showed mass disapproval for Elon Musk's actions and, people fearing that our checks and balances aren't working, as we see Trump's popularity and other polling beginning to take a dip and folks starting to wake up a little bit about what this administration is really trying to do. This was astounding. Quinnipiac found in February 2025 that Democrats approve of congressional Democrats by 9 points. It's a 49% figure in terms of the disapproval. Maybe we go to that second picture there. Yeah. So you can see there, among registered Democrats, 49% disapprove of the way that Democrats in Congress are handling their job, to 40%, and 11% don't know or didn't respond. That's a plurality. And compare that to March 2023, just 2 years ago. You can see the incredible difference. 75% of Democrats approved of the way that Democrats in Congress are handling their job, to 21%, 4%, don't know, didn't answer. Aaron from Queens, a great follow, says that's a 63-point shift in less than 2 years among the Democratic base. If you're watching this show and you used to watch MSNBC and you don't like the fact that many of their most mainstream hosts decided to bend the knee to Donald Trump after telling you for 8+ years that the most important thing is to resist his movement, you're right to be angry. And you should be supporting primary challengers with guys like Chris Kluwe, who will speak the truth about what this movement actually is. Because in 2016, we were saying things like, okay, maybe Reince Priebus will be the moderating force in the Trump administration. Maybe Rex Tillerson. maybe H.R. McMaster, some of these more establishment Republicans, perhaps they'll be the folks that rein this lunatic in. What we're hoping for right now is that Steve Bannon, the white nationalist, convinces Donald Trump to get the Afrikaner Nazi billionaire out of the treasury, looting it, and firing air traffic controllers to put his little guys in from SpaceX, among other insane actions, just cutting off essential care for people, firing tens of thousands of civil servants for no reason and trying and claiming it's for cause when there's no evidence of it. We're hoping that Steve Bannon, the white nationalist, is the moderating force to get the Afrikaner billionaire out, basically on nationalistic, anti-immigrant grounds. That's how far right we are at right now and how extreme this administration is. And the way the Democrats are responding, like, yeah, business as usual, you're not going crazy. It's outraging Democrats, traditional Democratic voters, liberals. And so now is the time to say how the party has been doing business is wildly insufficient. And I want more guys like Kluwe, and it doesn't need to be him, but folks who are engaged like him and who have the will and the want to fight to go and primary these Democrats, go to Justice Democrats, join your DSA chapter, and start getting involved now because the midterms are less than 2 years away.
Yeah, anger is good, but we have to kick the bums out. And Aaron has another tweet here. The left's battleground for the next 2 years is Dem primaries. We need strong fundraisers, communicators to run against these useless centers. Gomez in California, Scott, Georgia 13, Davis, Illinois 7, Thanadar, Michigan 13, Goldman, yeah, please.
Yes, my rep.
Yeah, mine too.
Let's primary
Menendez in New Jersey and Fletcher in Texas. And, we've talked, the sort of Tea Party metaphor has been one that we've occasionally poured cold water on because of it's not really symmetrical in terms of the fundraising capacity. Right. But this sort of situation where it's not just listeners of this show that are upset with the way Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are responding to this. It is everybody, and they are absolutely right to be. But anger, again, needs to be focused into political action, and the primaries are the best. We need to take a big bite out of these people in this next primary. Yep.
And that John Oliver segment I referenced, he ended his segment on Trump calling for primarying any Democrat that doesn't adequately fight Trump. So it's not just our show saying it. It's not just lefties or people on the internet. This is a very mainstream opinion among Democratic voters. And if congressional Democrats want to continue down this road, okay. It's your funeral electorally.
2 days ago, Ta-Nehisi Coates said, how can you get people to believe you'll stand up for democracy if you can't stand up to genocide?
Exactly right. Can you imagine if the Democrats forced the vote on Jeffries?
I mean, they shouldn't be supporting him.
No, but it would just be a funny conclusion to that little saga. But I wonder if other members of the party are starting to get a little antsy and wondering if leadership is going to lead them to electoral failure.
Well, that's the thing is, like, we need to primary them because I think a lot of them are spent. Hakeem Jeffries won't be improved upon, and I think he
needs to be primaried.
Like, they need to be kicked out and removed, because they're not going to learn a lesson. We need a new crop of legislators, just like 2018 brought us with AOC and Squad.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.